Here you guys. Get my comments up on my laptop. Test check. Test check. Yeah, not bad. Maybe like a 3 to 5 second delay. All right. Hollywood Briar, welcome, sir. Just figured I'd go live today. I went live, I think, every day last week. And on Saturday, I took Sunday off. And then I've already missed a couple of days this week. So there we go. I think I already muted my laptop. Are you getting a delay still? I'm not, it's not coming out of my laptop. Loading up a 9mm. And this is a 110, I believe. It's like a cherry wood shape. Ratch raised fatchin pipe. I'm not sure if I have this exact shape in stock right now, but I just got some fatchins this series, these green pipes in stock. They're not up on the website yet. The new stock isn't, but that'll be coming later today. So you guys check that out this evening. I do have a fatchin pipes restock right now. I didn't unfortunately get any old gallery pipes in just yet. So it looks like they'll be coming per series, just when they become available. I don't have the new Palmetto small batch blend. Old Hollywood Briar. I just, I'm not selling enough tobacco to really make that investment. I'm pretty sure I could sell some of them, but you know, there's no telling how much of it I would have just hanging around for however long, just because not that many people are buying tobacco from me these days because of the mail order issue. But if you don't know about that, you can read all about that on my tobacco page on the site. William, glad I caught you just in time for the pipe break. I think I'm going to load up some Pegasus. This is really a pipe that I use for Englishes. I mentioned the other day that I'm using most of my Petersons, aside from the Phoenix pipe. Most of my Petersons I use for English blends, but I do have one-off other pipes that I use for English blends. For whatever reason, a green pipe to me screams English blend, probably because of all the McClellan Oriental 10 labels being green. And I smoked a decent bit of those McClellan Oriental blends. I may, but I imagine they're already sold out now. Gabriel. I bet they were sold out. Even retailers couldn't get them probably after one day. That's how those small batches have been going this past year to 2 years. They won't let me just grab the small batches. I have to, you know, you get allotted a percentage of the small batches based on your purchases of their standard blends, which I think is fair. All right, here we go. So because I smoke a lot of Englishes in this pipe, it's tasting vaguely English. A little bit different of a taste for Pegasus, which doesn't have any Latakia. Just slightly. But that's okay. I can hang with that. Kind of expected it. It's not going to be a long live stream today, but I did want to get on, have a quick smoke. I just finished up my packing for the day. Hey, Signal Man. Signal Man Tony's in the house. I missed the roll call. I was too busy with finding all the stuff I needed to load a pipe. My favorite has been the 8-state Burley. I really like that 8-state Burley as far as the small batch blends go. Dorian Gray, welcome. Any tips for a loose fitting 9mm? You mean the filters are loose fitting, or the stem itself is loose fitting into the shank? Yep, Dorian, this is a Rattray's Fatchin pipe. I just told everybody I just got, they're not on the site yet. I do have some Fatchins in stock, but I just got a restock of these. I will have up by this evening. So if you've been looking for a Fatchin pipe, I will have them back in stock. A good many of them anyway. So the filter's loose. I mean, there's not really a good way to fix that, I don't think. Now, I have loose, I say fix. I don't think it's really a problem unless it's super loose, unless it like can jiggle back and forth. If it jiggles front to back, I don't think that's as much of a problem as if it jiggles back and forth. And that would mean that there'd be a good bit of air going around the filter instead of through it. I mean, is it giving you problems with the smoke? Do you feel like it's not working as well as a tighter fitting filtered pipe? The reason is I asked is I had probably half of my Series 3 pipes from Savinelli. Rest in peace, Series 3. They're discontinued now, but a decent bit of, probably half of my Series 3 pipes that were 9mm filtered were a bit loose. You know, they weren't snug fitting, but they always smoked just fine to me. It was enough filtering to serve my purposes. So I never let it bother me. Some pipes you can shove the filter up into the stem, kind of give it a hard shove, and it'll taper in and kind of hug the sides. If you haven't tried that, you might try that. Some are kind of tapered on the interior and kind of made that way for that to happen. And if you don't know that, well, then you just kind of hit the end and it's still loose. Just try to push it back a bit and see if it'll hold fast. Man, this Pegasus, smoking it in a pipe that I normally smoke English blends, it doesn't taste like an English tobacco now, but it does take on a different character, just a slightly different note. Kind of interesting. Yeah, Rattray's pipes for me are just neck and neck with Savinelli as far as quality smokes. And they both get, they both make pipes that are very expensive in the hundreds, but you can still get a good quality smoke around $100. A little bit less than $100, up into the $200 range. You don't have to, you know, sell the family cow to buy one. Yeah, Haunted Bookshop had to grow on me too, William. Hey, Radu, I believe you pronounce it Radu. If I mispronounce your name, I'm terribly sorry. I am a southern boy. I've never tried the Galloping Gertie, but I do love vapors. Yeah, the balsas do tend to be more snug than the charcoal filters. As a matter of fact, if you take a 9mm balsa filter, sometimes the edges of these ridges will kind of shave off or shear off as I push it in. But I still prefer the charcoal filters personally. They just do better for tongue bite for me. But if that's not your main concern, if your main concern is moisture, then the balsa filters work pretty much just as well for moisture. No, it's not more peppery if you're talking about this taste, Gabriel, but it's just like a slight incense note. Oh, I'm all over the place with notes, with comments, you guys. Yeah, on the West Coast it's still morning for Hollywood Briar, but it's 11:40 here. About to hit lunchtime, noontime. William, I haven't smoked aromatics very much at all the past few months, six months or more. But recently I've been smoking an aromatic first thing in the morning on the back porch. And while I read to start my day. And it's been doing me all right. No need to start with a heavy blend in the morning, I guess. Or maybe it's just been the aromatic, because I've been smoking through some McClellan's. I don't have it out here, but I think it's called Old Hollow, Deep Hollow. Just a light Virginia, well, a light vanilla aromatic, but I think it's all Virginias. And it's that McClellan Virginia. So, it's got a little bit of tang to it, and then it's got the vanilla. Kind of hard to describe, but like vinegar vanilla doesn't really sound good to me, but it on paper it doesn't sound great. It works on the palate for me. It's been so humid here the past few days. And it hasn't even really been rainy. It's just been humid. It's 51% in here, which is climate controlled. But outside this morning, it was about 77% humidity. So you walk outside and it's, already 81 degrees in the morning. But with that 77% humidity, it just feels like you're in a bog or a swamp. Novaki, I missed what pipe that was that you were having trouble with a loose filter on. I see your comment about seems like smoke's going around it enough to affect the filtering process to be noticeable. You may have put what pipe it was, but I don't see it. Yeah, I just can't think of a fix for that that would, not be a pain or a hassle for you to do every single time you loaded a filter. Oh. Nick asked, probably some minutes ago, can you provide tips on keeping a pipe lit when using a 9mm charcoal filter when outdoors? So 3 things: keeping a pipe lit, using a 9mm charcoal filter, and outdoors. Well, for me, a 9mm charcoal filter helps keep the pipe lit. So that's a plus. Because you're using a 9mm charcoal filter, you can draw more than you would without a filter. I mean, I definitely wouldn't freight train it, but the filter is in your favor for keeping it lit. Tamping is key. I mean, two key things, 3 key things. Loading it so that it's not too tight or too loose. I tend to err on the side of a loose pack rather than a tight pack. That's helpful, I find. But you try to find that just right packing, to where it's not too tight or too loose. But again, I err on the side of loose. Second would be an even light. And if it doesn't light all the way around, tamp it down a bit, and that'll be your false light. Relight it, make sure you get a nice uniform light on the top of the tobacco. So that would be the second thing, to make sure it burns as evenly as you can get it to. The third thing would be tamping. Tamping, some people don't, they don't think about tamping being as important as it is. But I find tamping to be just as important as cadence, as your smoking cadence, for keeping a pipe lit. I find a pretty good bit that if my smoke is getting thin and it seems like the pipe's about to go out, if I tamp it while I draw in lightly for a few seconds, it stokes right back up. You don't want to tamp it hard, but if you just lightly tamp it, you're getting those embers to push up against the unburned tobacco just a bit so it'll catch while you're drawing in. Tamping is muy importante. A fourth thing, which is kind of, yeah, we'll say it's a fourth thing, aspect to keeping your pipe lit, is just making sure you're smoking tobacco that's not too moist. If you're smoking wet tobacco, it's going to go out. So even with aromatics, I tend to smoke aromatics on the drier side. Leave some out, let it dry for 15-30 minutes. It really depends on your climate. With me being 77% humidity here, it could take a couple of hours to dry out a bowl full of tobacco before I load it. But I kind of sidestep that by just keeping a handful of tins open for several months at a time. So when I smoke it, it's on towards the drier side. And that keeps your filter from having to overwork too hard, because there's not as much moisture to get out. Keeps your gurgle down and all that kind of stuff. Oh. Donald, I saw that pickled vanilla comment, finally. I am behind. I tried some pickle-flavored moonshine a while back. That was not for me, I'll tell you that. A near up, okay. I finally see Novaki's comment about which pipe he was having trouble with. That's unfortunate. I've not yet tried a near up 9mm pipe. So I don't have any experience with how they drill them. You would think it would be an industry standard. So I don't know, you might want to ask them you might want to email Nearup directly about it, or at least the retailer you bought it from, if it hasn't been too awful long. Of course, if you bought it secondhand, you're probably out of luck, but has anybody else had trouble with their 9mm drilled Nearups being too loose for the filter? so your filter jiggles around. That is another good piece of good advice. You can kind of push in one end of the ceramic filter cap on one end, just kind of push it in, and then when you shove your filter into the stem itself, there'll be a little paper there to curve in and maybe catch. Or it may be just too wide to even do that. So I did want to mention, you guys, we talked a few days ago about this whole, the cigar channels on YouTube getting hit with limited or no ad monetization. That's never been a big deal for me and a lot of us here in the YTPC because we don't have that many subs or that many views. But for some of these cigar channels that have like 140,000 subscribers, for them to all of a sudden not be able to monetize their videos, or for it to, go from, I don't even know. I never made this kind of money, but maybe they were making a few $100s a month, and now they're down to a trickle of maybe $50 or $60 a month for a channel they've built up for 5 to 10 years. I know that would be frustrating, and I think it was Cigar Obsession that just left YouTube recently, and he's on Rumble and Facebook and Instagram now. I haven't, I'm not jumping ship yet. YouTube's still the big name of the game as far as getting videos out to people, but as we discussed the other day, we need to have a backup. We need to have a secondary. So I'd like to start uploading videos on Instagram and Facebook. I'll take a look into that. But as far as getting my videos moved quickly and easily to a different platform, I created a Rumble account. Rumble.com, they're kind of a YouTube competitor, if there even is such a thing on the market. But they had a way to sync your YouTube channel with your Rumble channel. And they say, depending on the length of your videos and how many videos you have, it could take weeks, days, or even weeks to complete. But I started that process yesterday, and it looks like today I had maybe 50 videos that had moved over already. So basically, guys, I'm using Rumble right now as a backup. Being able to sync all of your YouTube videos to a different account on a different platform is an amazing feature. Instead of me having to download every single video off my channel and then re-upload it to another platform. So hopefully that's going to work. But even if I only get, my latest 50 videos over, that's something. But hopefully I'll check tomorrow and there'll be another 50 videos. All that to say, you just never know with the climate of tobacco these days, specifically with YouTube. There may come a day when they contact me and say, just with an email, just like PayPal did, said, hey, you can't use PayPal to sell tobacco. You're canceled. We've deactivated your account and frozen your funds. May come a time, there may come a day where YouTube sends me such an email and says, hey, you can't have tobacco on our site. You can't, make tobacco videos, you know, where we've deactivated your account. If it comes to that, at least I'll have a backup with Rumble. So, again, all that to say, if you're on Rumble, look for me. I'm the Pipe Nook, all run together because they won't let you put spaces in your channel name. So it's the Pipe Nook, all run together. Follow me on Rumble, whatever they call it. Subscribe, follow. And you might want to make a Rumble account if you don't have one, because more and more people are using Rumble in that way as a backup, as a just in case. And I would love to get as many subs over there as I have on YouTube. It'd be great if I even got half as many subs on Rumble as I have on YouTube. We'll see how it goes. The problem comes with everybody uses YouTube. Not that many people have heard of Rumble. So for new pipe smokers trying to find their way and get advice and tips and things like that, they're going to go to YouTube. Not many of them are going to go to Rumble. I mean, I did a quick search for pipe smoking and pipe tobacco, and there's not a whole lot over there yet. Hopefully that'll change. Maybe I can be one of the first. But again, I'm not leaving YouTube until they make me leave. I'm going to reload my chat because it seems like it's hung up. Y'all might want to do the same. Raymond, glad you like that Phoenix pipe. Yes, sir. And that's what I've got, is that Phoenix 03. I need to clean it because I smoked it last, but love that pipe, man. Whoa, there's a chat hit. William asks, when I bought my Camo 7LE, I was impressed with the little box of matches that came with it. How do you get those made? I think I got those from a company, and I can't take credit for it because Mike over at Briar Blues advised me to check with this company. I think they're where he gets matches from. It was Maryland Match Company, I believe. You can do a Google search for Maryland Match. They have all kinds, shapes, sizes, dimensions of matchbooks available to purchase, and you can get them customized for your business. I'm not overly happy with the matches I got because Well, it was my first order, and I didn't want to spend thousands of dollars on matches. So I'll be honest with you guys, I wish I had gotten some thicker matches. The match books, the match boxes themselves are nice. And I was even able to get the black colored tips, which I think is a nice look for my black and white logo. But the matches themselves are a bit thin. Now, hey, they're free, you know what I mean? Or they're free to you guys anyway. But next time before I order, I'm going to ask them if they have any thicker matches than this. Because what I wanted let me do some compare and contrast here. What I wanted was something closer to a kitchen match. Or, yeah, okay. So this green tipped match is just a diamond kitchen match that you can get at pretty much any grocery store or drugstore or Dollar General or what have you. The red tipped one is a Swan Vesta. Those Swan Vestas are pricey, y'all, and I don't think they're honestly any better than a diamond kitchen match. But then here are the matches I give out for free when you order a pipe. And you see they're just not quite as long and not quite as thick. So they don't really help you light a pipe very well. But I thought, hey, it's a cool little giveaway when someone orders a pipe from me. But I definitely want to make sure to get some better matches whenever I sell out of these. Honestly, it's going to take me a while to sell out of these matches because I think I bought either 1,500 boxes or 2,500 boxes because I wanted to get a quantity price dip. What would you call that? A price break. So that's one of my pipe Nook matches. They work. They just don't work super well as I'd like them to. Patrick says, have you used a Falcon pipe before? I had one Falcon pipe. The Falcon rings that are just made out of pipe cleaners that go underneath the bowl didn't do much for me. So I ordered some Nording volcanic, what do they call these things? Nording keystones. They're just little bits of volcanic rock pebbles. I found they worked a little better for me. Still not as good as a charcoal filter. But while I was cleaning that Falcon pipe one day, the stem broke off. Like that aluminum tube that goes through the middle, it broke. I don't remember the specifics of how I broke it, but it did break, so I don't have a working Falcon pipe now. They're cool, funky looking pipes, but they weren't. It wasn't a favorite of mine for smoking. Castle Gates. This is a Rattray's Fatchin pipe, and I think I'm about done with it. Yep, I'm down there towards the bottom. But that's fine. We're at about the... Oh, it's not telling me how long I've been going. But I think I've been going a good 30 minutes or so. And I did warn y'all it was going to be a shorter one today. Got 27 in the house now. Oh, I found something interesting on YouTube today, and I haven't gone down the rabbit hole with it just yet, but for any of you Metallica fans out there, do a YouTube search for Metallica 8-bit. So Metallica, the number 8-bit. And you'll find a guy who's done the first 4 Metallica albums in 8-bit sound, like an old Nintendo game. I couldn't believe it. He did all 4 albums, and they sound pretty cool. Like you know what you're listening to. Well, y'all check out Old Hollywood Briar's short that he just uploaded. You've been doing so many shorts lately, man. I can't keep up with all of them, but I try to check them out when I can. Yeah, I still have my Falcon for novelty's sake. One day I might see about getting it fixed or just buy another one. I mean, it's, you know, as inexpensive as Falcons are, I could probably just buy a new stem and transfer my bowl to a stem. Probably what I should do. But I had a cool one. I don't think it's out here. Let me check. I think I took it inside since it's not smokable. I did. But it was real neat. It had a green spine down the middle of it. The smoke passage was green. I'm out. A 100,000 views in the last 3 weeks doing those shorts, huh? That's nuts, man. Castle Gates, I am definitely a metalhead. Now, I listen to a lot of different kinds of music, you know. Typically from the late 60s up into, you know, I listen to some modern music, not much, but I focus primarily on 80s, 70s and 80s music, little into the 90s, not far into the 90s, but you know, I listen to bands like Tom Petty and the Black Crowes and the Jayhawks and Sunvolt, Ryan Adams, Whiskey Town, Lucero. So, you know, the Georgia Satellites. Man, I love the Georgia Satellites. It's a shame they only made like 3 albums back in the day. Just a great bar band type sound, kind of like Old Faces, but just with more muscle. Rod Stewart and Faces. And, but then I listen to stuff like John Waite, The Babies, Journey, Boston. I listen to a ton of the hair bands. But if you're talking about metal, and Tom Petty and Bob Dylan, I love those guys. Some old country, Hank Williams, Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash. But for metal, some of my all-time favorites are Metallica, Megadeth. I don't go with the controversy between which is better. I like them both. Iron Maiden is probably my all-time favorite metal band. Then I listen to some newer stuff like Sonata Arctica and Nightwish and Amon Amarth. Of course, I listen to some Motorhead. I'm a Christian, so I listen to a lot of old school like Christian metal bands. Of course, Stryper and Bride and Mortification and Paramecium. Motorhead is decidedly not a Christian band, but I do like some of the stuff they did. But yeah, that's just a sampling of some of my favorite metal bands. You've never heard the Georgia Satellites? You've heard a couple of their songs. When you get to them, you'll know. At least their big hit. Petra, I listen to a lot of Petra. Their old school, early 80s album covers always reminded me of Boston album covers. And that was probably by design. Testament, I like Testament. They're not a favorite of mine, but, Testament, Anthrax. I really like Overkill. But, I could talk about metal bands all day long. You produced a couple of Petra concerts. Nice. That was back during the John Schlitt era. Still, I believe, the late 90s. I think they called it a day around 2004 or something like that. All right, everyone, I think I'm going to call it a day. Yep, they were in the movie Cocktail. That's right, Nick. You guys have a good one. And what's this? Friday? Thursday. It's Thursday. I may go live again tomorrow. I've broken my streak this week, so definitely not intending to do daily lives, but whenever I can fit it in, you guys. So be on the lookout. Maybe ring that bell for notifications of when I go live if you haven't already. All right, we'll chat with you again soon. Have a good one.